Hey guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm. So today I thought I'd make the boys broccoli and cheddar soup. They love broccoli and cheddar soup, so I thought I'd make that this afternoon, considering that it's gonna be kind of snowy for the next couple of days. I've got a 6-quart Instapot pulled out. I'm just gonna basically let that sit and slow cook for a couple of hours. We're gonna have some soup and we'll probably keep it going on low overnight because it always tastes better the next day. So what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna saute these onions. The recipe calls for chicken broth. I'm gonna cheat a little bit and I'm gonna use an organic bouillon cubes that I have made with free-range chicken. And I'm gonna put a little spin on it. We're gonna use the freeze-dried broccoli. We're gonna use the freeze-dried carrots that I pulled out of the garden the other day. And we're also going to be using the freeze-dried cheese that I did as well. Now, in my area, I don't know about you, but milk right now for about a gallon is about $8 because I don't drink skim milk and I don't drink 2% milk. I drink full fat milk. So basically what we've done is we've decided it's time to get a little bit creative with the dairy because dairy is starting to sort of skyrocket when you go down the aisles. And so there's just going to become a time where you're just going to have to get creative with your ingredients. So instead of adding milk today, we're going to be adding sour cream. We're going to thin it out a little bit, and then we're going to add our chicken stock to it. And guys, I've done this before. You can't tell the difference. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to saute these up. So we have our onions in, and what we're going to do is we're going to saute these until they get translucent. Because that's basically what you're going to do. We're going to saute it in your hot butter until it's translucent, and sometimes that takes about 5 minutes to do. You don't need very much. I'm only having about a half of onion in here, so saute it until it gets translucent. Then what I'm going to do after we do this is I'm actually going to make some garlic bread to go along with this soup. I always like soup on really cold days, so the boys have sort of come around to it too. They usually want stew, but hey, we're going to use what we've got. Plus, I'm anxious to see how this turns out with the freeze-dried food. So while this is sauteing down, one of the things that I like to do when I'm making broccoli cheddar soup, put a little spin on it, and I actually add some celery. So remember all that celery that we had harvested out of the garden? I usually put about a 1/4 cup of celery in, and just let that saute down with the onions. The celery is really good in it. So now this is sauteed down a little bit. What you're going to do is, this is where you have to get creative when you're not using milk. You're going to take your container of sour cream, you're going to dump it in, and then you're going to put 2 cups of water on top of that. So the sour cream is going to go in. If you want, if you feel safer, you can turn off the saute, but it's not going to burn. And what we're going to do at this point is we are going to just mix it in. And then we're going to run and we're going to grab our 2 cups of water. 1 and 2. And we're going to mix this all in before we add the flour. Now don't forget, it depends on what you're using. If you're using your chicken stock that you've canned, this is where you'd want to pour it in. Normally I would use 2 cups of chicken stock on top of this because I'm making a 6-quart pot. So, but in this case, I am going to be using the bouillon cubes, so I'm going to use 4 of those. And I'm just going to add those in so we can mix it. All right, so I've added my 4 bouillon cubes, so I am going to be mixing this down, making sure that it constitutes through the sour cream very well. And then basically what we're going to do is just like any other, I don't know if you've made broccoli and cheddar soup, but the next thing you would normally do after you add your 2 cups of water is you would actually add in your broccoli. So that's what we're going to do. Now you can, I've seen people add their flour in first and then their broccoli last, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, we can do either or. We're just going to make sure that this is going to be whisked in nice and easy. The celery, oh, it smells so amazing. So here is our freeze-dried broccoli. And we're just going to put that in here. what's nice is this is so light and fluffy. It just pours out just like powder. So we're gonna put 2 of these in because I'm gonna make 2 days worth of soup. So I'm just gonna hit this, dump it out, and stir it in. Just be careful when you're doing this not to actually dump in your little packet here. That wouldn't be good. So there's 1 jar. And we're gonna take our other jar here. Don't want that packet in there. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna stir and stir and stir until this is basically constituted in before we add our carrots. Pretty simple. I love the fact I don't have to sit here and actually chop up the broccoli because that takes the longest, or shred the cheese because that takes the longest too. And I think that's what makes this recipe sometimes really long. Of course, unless you're buying, you know, the frozen florets, and then you can just dump it in. Okay. All right. So that is mixed in. And the next thing I'm going to add in is our carrots. Watch out for that packet. These are just, they're so light, it doesn't even feel like I have carrots here. So we're just gonna mix these in as well. It's starting to smell really good in here, guys. Mix these in until they're constituted. Oh, the celery smells amazing. I'm just gonna let this cook down a little bit, and then what I'm gonna do at this point, once it's cooked down, is I'm actually gonna add in the flour, and then I'm gonna add in the cheese. So I'm probably gonna cook this down for about 5 minutes, just to let it all meld together, and then I'm gonna add the other 2 ingredients. I'm gonna lose my spoon. You can see how this is starting to sort of meld all together now. So what I would do at this point is I would add my flour. Don't use a whisk though, because if you use a whisk, you're gonna end up with the broccoli and the carrots all stuck in your whisk. I've done that a million times. So just gonna stir this in. Ooh, that smells so good. Who doesn't like this on a cold day? And guys, let me tell you, freeze-dried carrots and broccoli taste good even by themselves as a snack. It's like you're snacking on chips, but healthy ones. So you can see how this is now starting to get thicker. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the cheese. So here is our freeze-dried cheese that we're going to add. And I'm going to put the whole thing in, just because I'm creating, like I said, a pot for a couple of days. So we're going to add this in. Oh, that looks so good. I'm going to stir this down before we add the rest in. Okay, we're starting to get a little bubble here now. Pot's finally catching up to me. So now it's nice and creamy and thick. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the rest of the cheese and then put the lid on and let it simmer on low. And that gives me some time to make some garlic bread as well. One of the other things that I would do too is I would top it off probably with a little bit of pepper. I like pepper at the top of my soup. And that's it, guys. So freeze-dried carrots, freeze-dried cheese, freeze-dried broccoli, all in your broccoli soup. And we're gonna let this cook and let's see how it comes out at the end. As a matter of fact, let's top this with some pepper. Mix that in. This is gonna be a really good soup. I'm really excited to try it. Ooh, that looks so good. Okay, so I'm gonna put the lid on this now. And I'm just gonna let it sit here and do its thing for probably, I I'd say probably like a half an hour. And let me find some garlic bread to go with this, because you cannot eat this soup without bread. I'm a bread fiend, I gotta have it. Okay, I'm just gonna press stop and let this do its thing, and we'll see how it comes out. Okay guys, so we are back with our broccoli and cheddar soup. Let's see how it tastes. Let's see. Oh, this looks good. Look how nice and thick and creamy that is. That is awesome. And I actually did make garlic bread to go with it as well, but okay, so let's scoop this out and see. I am just gonna grab a spoon. Of course, this is going to be super hot, but it looks really good. Let's see, so let's try one of the carrots. Oh, definitely good. You wouldn't even know the difference. Wow. I'm gonna try a piece of the broccoli. Holy smokes, you guys, this is really good. Okay, so there you have it. We made basically our broccoli and cheddar soup using our freeze-dried ingredients, and you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference that these were freeze-dried. And because they were freeze-dried, the intensity of the carrot and the broccoli is even better. Love it. So yeah, that's 2 thumbs up for me, guys. Give it a try if you have a freeze dryer. Broccoli cheddar soup, however you decide to make it, but it really came out awesome for me. And I'm gonna take another scoop because it's dinner time. I'm starving. We've been outside all day, and it is good. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up or subscribe, and see you soon. I'm gonna go eat.